This week on the Shame Free Life podcast radio show, we're going to have a candid conversation pertaining to the topic, you explain too much. Let's get into it.
Today is about the power of you.
We can be whatever we dream.
You're locked into another episode of 15 Minutes of Shame. Each week, we'll help you rebuild your life one brick at a time by addressing real-life issues from a practical and biblical perspective.
I had to believe in myself like never before.
This is the Shame-Free Radio Show.
Finding the solution to become the greatest.
And now your host, minister, author, grief and trauma support specialist, Dr. Ronald Zion Roseborough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it.
Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are, coast to coast from around the globe. You're locked inside of another installment, live inside of the Shame Free Life radio show. I am your host, Ronald Zion, and it is a pleasure to be back with you yet once again. A lot of fires to put out, but that's why the Most High, He has commissioned me with a fire extinguisher in my hand to extinguish every fire that needs to be extinguished. And what I can't handle, He will handle. Well, it's great to be back once again. But before we get into the topic, you explain too much. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back momentarily. Have you ever felt alone and life is out of control? Perhaps like a sailboat at sea in the midst of a tsunami. Well, you're not alone. Here at the Shame Free Life, LLC, we offer services in trauma recovery, crisis intervention, and empowerment coaching. We operate in integrity, confidentiality, empathy with coaching ethics. Contact us at theshamefreelife.com. or email us at contact@theshamefreelife.com. You may not be responsible for your injury, but you are responsible for your healing. Let us help you rebuild your life one brick at a time, because your life begins when you say so. Yes, indeed. We may not be responsible for the injury that we incurred, but we are definitely responsible for our own healing. And it's a perfect segue because sometimes some of the injuries that we sustain, some of the injuries, not most, not all or part, but just some of the injuries that we sustain, perhaps it's because we explain too much. Let's get into it. We explain too much, especially to non-investors. Before we get into it, Father Yah, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you for your goodness, Father. I thank you, Lord, for all of my listeners from coast to coast around the globe. I pray, Father, that you would breathe on this podcast like never before. Lord, I pray that I would decrease, allow you to increase, and to speak a word into our hearts to begin a course of healing as we journey down the road of self-discovery and also self-healing with your assistance, with your guidance, with your power, because we understand that it's not by might, nor by our own human power, but by your Holy Spirit, as we participate in concert with you. And it is so. You explain too much. Now, when I looked at this particular subject, it really brought up a lot of personal memories, and I looked around me and I began to engage others in conversations and, of course, in the media. But when I talk about that you explain too much, I'm specifically zeroing in on non-investors. Non-investors. You know, when we have something that has been impressed upon us, imparted in us, pertaining to our earthly purpose, by the one who made us, which is the Most High. That oftentimes we run and we tell everyone, hey, listen, I want to start this business. I want to start this ministry. I want to start this nonprofit. I want to try to get my first house. I think I'm thinking about maybe trading in my car and get another car. I have all of these ideas. It's time for me to work these ideas. And that's wonderful when you are surrounded by a support system that, number one, believes in you. Number two, will hold you accountable to this particular agenda or dream that you want to become reality, and that they are trustworthy. So when you have those elements and many more, not limiting to just those three attributes, now you're really cooking with grease, because you have a supporting cast, a supporting system that will now not only hold you responsible, believe in you, but that you can trust with your business, that they will not become a saboteur to sabotage what the Most High have given you. How many times that you have told some information to someone that you felt in your heart of hearts that were there for you, that you could count on, that you could trust, only to become a saboteur to sabotage the very things that you told them? That's okay. You're not by yourself. We have to understand, as the word says in 1 Thessalonians 5:12, that I beseech you, brethren, to know those that labor among you. That word to know, ido, from the Greek etymology of that word, means to become acquainted with. To become acquainted with. The Bible also talks about that we should know the Spirit. Those that be of the Most High God. For many false prophets have gone out in the world, and we're living in a time of deception, multiple deception, deep trench in deception, cunning, crafty deception. And we have to really know those that we fully engage with on a personal level as it relates to our personal purpose. Now, this is not a message or a podcast of being paranoid, because I think oftentimes because of bad experiences of getting burnt, bad experiences of being stabbed in the back, etc., that we oftentimes put everyone in the same category because of trigger moments that we have not yet allowed to be healed in our lives. So we look at everyone sideways, and everyone is a suspect, when oftentimes these people have done no harm, nor do they intend to do harm to us. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I really believe that if we can use history as a teachable moment, that when we engage others around us in a conversation as it relates to our purpose, as it relates to the sanctity of that purpose, the importance of that purpose, the urgency of that purpose, we can go back into the database of getting burnt, of getting let down, of being sabotaged by a secret saboteur that we called a friend or a family member or a church member or a member of the clergy. And we will, before we speak, we will think. Before we speak, we will pray. Before we speak, we will begin to exercise the discernment of the Holy Spirit. Before we speak something to someone that may try to undermine what we are trying to do or attempt to do. Now, it kind of reminds me of the story of Joseph, one of my favorite stories of the Bible. And we understand that overall that the Most High allowed certain things in time to be orchestrated in such a way to whereas we had to get Joseph from one point to another point, and in between there will be twists and turns and potholes and pitfalls, literally pits, and quicksands, betrayal, brokenness, abuse and misuse, rejection and dejection. He would have to endure all of those things and some others that I have not yet named in order to get him from one point to his final destination, that not only would the Most High be glorified, but that Joseph would know that God, the Most High, was with him every step of the way, even though he questioned him, even though that he probably didn't feel that he was there. Have you ever been there? I know I have. When I look at the life of Joseph, even though that everything was orchestrated pertaining to his life, but that he engaged his brothers who were secretly jealous and envious of him in a conversation pertaining to a dream that he had about how 11 stars would bow down to him, and the sun and the moon, symbolic of his mother and father. He began to also tell them, I had another dream that 11 sheaves of grain, of wheat, were bowing down to this one sheaf. And so they begin to ask themselves, what are you saying? Are we going to bow down to you? I mean, we don't like you as it is. You know, you are the favorite of our father, but the truth be told, we secretly can't stand you. And in such a way to whereas we want to take your life. And they attempted to, or they plotted to. And of course, we know that he was sold into slavery after being thrown into a pit, and from being sold into slavery, that he ended up in the general commander's household of the army of Egypt, Potiphar's house. And the Lord was with him, blessed the entire household because of Joseph's presence, or the Most High's presence in Joseph. And of course, he was accused of attempting to rape Potiphar's wife, which he did not. And they threw him unjustly into prison. But from prison, he ended up in the palace. But the point I'm trying to make, aside from this being divine setups, divine appointments, not that God was doing anything evil to Joseph, but allowing everything in the course of time to take place to get him from one place to another, because the bigger picture was many people being saved because of Joseph not remaining in the pit or remaining in the prison, but being promoted to the palace.
God today.
And oftentimes I have to kind of remind myself, as I remind you, that you may feel that you are in a pit today. You may feel that emotionally or psychologically or financially or relationally that you are in a prison today. But I want to encourage you that though you may be in those particular places, literally or figuratively, it is not the end all of your story. If you turn the page in your book of life to the next chapter and begin to read your book of life through the lenses of faith, you will see that from the pit to the prison is going to lead you to the palace.
God today.
So this is what we're looking at as it relates to encouraging ourselves. But on the flip side of that, the point of it all is that Joseph told his secret enemies his dream. We have to be very careful of three things. When I engage you on the topic of you explain too much, be careful who you share your plans with. Be careful who you share your purpose with. And finally, be careful who you share your past with. So enter Joseph, who told his dream to his brothers that secretly envied him, were jealous of him, and that plotted to get rid of him. Be careful of who you give information to, especially individuals that are non-investors, individuals that are not fully invested in you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise, financially. Giving them insight on your plans, especially those individuals who are going nowhere fast. They have no initiative to get out of their own personal pit or prison, but they're satisfied when you are joining them. Misery loves company. They're satisfied when you are joining them in gossip, when you are joining them with character assassination of someone else, when you are joining them of just being in a job that is a dead-end job, an entry-level job, though you inspire more for yourself, but they don't. Those individuals will do any and everything possible to sabotage your plans. They are saboteurs, one who practices sabotage. Have you ever met one? I know I have. I have met saboteurs that said, listen, Brother Zion, I've got your back. I love you, man of God. I believe in you, man of God. These were bishops. These are bishops. These are pastors. These are prophets, evangelists, teachers. These are individuals that are business owners. These are individuals who are the founders or CEOs of nonprofit organizations. And you sit down and have a conversation with them and didn't realize that secret jealousy was in their heart. I believe that it was David. Yes, it was David. In the Psalms, he says that, that if it were my enemy that came against me, I would be able to understand. But yea, my own familiar friend, whom I did eat with, broke bread with, we took sweet counsel together, we went to church and worshiped together, have lifted up his heels against me. And so this is the reason why we need discernment more than ever before in today's time that we're in, the last days, because we have to be able to see those things as they are and not how they appear. We must be at a place of maturation to compartmentalize people, you wouldn't put a spoon where the forks belong, or a knife where the spoons belong, or a bowl where a plate belongs, or a coffee mug where the glassware belongs. No, everything should have its proper compartment so you know exactly what to get when you need it. Well, we ought to put people in those same categories. Okay, so you call yourself a man or a woman of God? Well, let's see. You call yourself, my friend? Well, we will find out. You call yourself family because we the same blood runs through our veins, but we're going to see if in fact you are familia. So we have to be able to know those by becoming acquainted with the spirit that they operate in and the mentality that they are entrenched in before we engage them with our plans. Secondly, sometimes we explain too much to others who are non-investors concerning our purpose. Concerning our purpose, meaning your revealed meaning for existence. Purpose, your kingdom assignment in the earth. Your purpose, your heart passion, the thing that gives you life, the thing that your heart beats for. I mean, the thing that just drives you and it compels you. There's a difference between a dream and a vision. A dream is what you work on, but a vision is what works on you. It works on you at 12 midnight. It works on you at 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m. It works on you throughout the day. Even when you're working your 9-to-5 job and you're making your company rich, your vision is working on you with downloads on what to do and making notations in your journal and staying up late night researching and and trying to connect with people in various sectors to pull this vision together that it can become a reality, and out of the infancy of a dream, and out of the toddler stage of a dream, that it can become an adult. And we have to be very careful who we share our purpose with. There are people that are not only dream snatchers, but they are purpose killers. And so we have to be able to know those individuals. These are individuals, again, they are classified, in my humble opinion, as being non-investors. Non-investors, they're not contributing one iota as it relates to your kingdom assignment in the earth. And though we are trying to pay Verizon, we're trying to pay water bill, gas bill, light bill, and mortgages and car notes and all of this, and trying to save up and go here to eat and go there and take a vacation whenever time permits, whenever the atmosphere and society will allow, that there's more to life than those things. Those things are wonderful. It's a part of life, and we should participate in those things. But I'm talking about these things. What these things are you talking about, Zion? I'm talking about our purpose, but connecting with individuals that will be able to fuel your purpose. Connecting with individuals that will be able to fan the flames concerning your purpose. Holding you accountable as it relates to your purpose and also your plan. And lastly, we need to be very careful when it comes to explaining too much as it relates to your past. We have to understand our audience. Everyone is not going to be able to stomach your past. Everyone is not going to be able to understand your past. Everyone is not going to be able to support you in spite of your past. And oftentimes, again, we place people in categories and in compartments that they should not be privy to, because they don't have it in them to be in those categories. But because of loneliness, or because of, we go way back, or because of the kindness of our hearts, we begin to now explain our past to people that could possibly take your past and become offended because of it. Hear your past, and now look at you through the eyes of disdain. Look at you through the eyes of disgust, as opposed to an overcomer. Looking at you as being a victim instead of being victorious concerning all that you have endured in your past. Your past failures or past defeats, injustices, different types of rumors spoken about you, and gossip, slander, propaganda, those kinds of things. To walk with you in this journey of life, and to make sure that you become the best that you're supposed to become in life by the one who gave you life. It takes someone who believes in you, someone that you can trust, and someone that will hold you accountable. Someone that understands that, yes, you do have a past, but you also have a present that will dictate your future. And in order for you to get to your future, you cannot remain stuck in the pit of your past or bound in the prison of maximum security of your past. The key is in your hand to unlock the prison. The ladder is in your possession to climb out of the pit. I'm here to just remind you that you have everything that you need in order to accomplish what the Most High God have given you to accomplish.
God today.
Those are the people that we need around us, not individuals that will look at you sideways. I can't believe you did what? So you mean to tell me you got 4 baby daddies? You slept with all these dudes? You mean to tell me that you got 7 baby mamas? Dude, I didn't realize that you've been to prison. I didn't realize that you had a foreclosure. You mean to tell me that you lost your ministry behind what again? So be careful of individuals that sit back and as you begin to speak, they begin to make mental notations and now they begin to assess you pertaining to the ignorance of your past or the injustices of your past, the injuries of your past that you incurred, but not see the beauty that's on the inside of you, the promise that's on the inside of you, the strength that's on the inside of you, and the Most High God's grace that covers you. These individuals just want free information, not to assist you in elevation and application, but for interpretation or to reinterpret who you really are as opposed to who you are. So, in essence, we have to be very careful of who we explain too much to concerning our plans, concerning our purpose, and concerning our past. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to get back with the conclusion of this matter of you explain too much. Have you considered continuing your education? Or do you find yourself like so many, sidetracked by life, fear, or maybe even excuses? Well, I've come to tell you that there is absolutely no perfect time than right now. Time is ticking away. So get your degree today. Rehoboth International Bible College is an accredited university designed to meet your higher biblical education needs. Simply go to RehobothInternationalBibleCollege.com or call 866-235-0812 extension 0. You are an investment, so it is past time for you to reap the dividends. Rehoboth International Bible College. All right, so we're back. So you may be saying, listen, Zion, I feel what you're saying. I told somebody my business and it became known on the following week's church bulletin. I told somebody my business and they posted it on Facebook, throwing shade. Yeah, they did everything but call my name. I told somebody my business and they went and told this person, that person, the other person. And now everybody think they know, but they don't know the entire truth. You know, what do I do? Well, here's the thing. We all make mistakes. We are all in the classroom of life. Sometimes you are the teacher, but most times, if not all the time, you are the student. So we have duality of roles, both teacher and student. Don't allow the mistake to now become a tool of incarceration. So you blew it, so now you know. And the wonderful thing about it is being able to know those who labor among us. If you don't get it right the first time, okay, you know what? This person is a snake. This person I can't trust. This person right here, there's some secret jealousy going on. But you override that check that you have in your heart, in your spirit, and that person burns you, that person, disappoints you, puts you on blast, etc., or sabotage what you're doing. Okay, so now you know that person that you allowed to labor, work with you, among you. So now that you know on the other side, which is a wonderful thing, It's an unfortunate thing, but it's a wonderful thing. If you look at it like this, it's all about reframing. And that's one of the things that I do with my clients as it relates to cognitive behavioral therapy. To see a situation as bad as it is, we can stay there with it, or we can excel beyond it. But in order to excel beyond the reality of how ugly it is, we must reframe the way that we see it. It doesn't mean live in a place of an illusion, but we have to now reframe our interpretation concerning that for the betterment of our own human growth, development, and psychological elevation. So now that you know, what are you going to do with the information? Don't allow it to handcuff you in moving forward of those individuals that have your best interests at heart. Don't allow what someone else did to you by you entrusting them with your business to now have you looking at everyone else sideways. Don't allow it to shut you down spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually. Chalk it up as a teachable moment, as a learning experience in the class of life. And now you can make a mental notation as it relates to, okay, that person I treat with a long handled spoon, as my mom and grandma used to say. They have no more access to me from an up close and personal standpoint. Their access has been denied. And just move forward. So I hope that this has been a blessing to you. If it has, don't keep it to yourself. Share this podcast. Follow me on Buzzsprout. And also, if you're looking for more content, if you're looking for video content, definitely go to my YouTube channel. It is simply The Shame Free Life. Twitter, The Shame Free Life. And so just look me up, Shame Free Life, on any of those platforms, social media platforms. And as always, I will continue to say that your life begins when you say so. Until next time, walk out your purpose unapologetically and know those who labor among you so you will not fall victim again in explaining too much to non-investors.
Thank you for joining us on the Shame Free Life radio show. For 15 minutes of shame, follow us on IG and Twitter at Shame Free Life. For information on promoting your business with us, contact us at theshamefreelife@gmail.com. Until next time, your life begins when you say so.